I don't think it matters what walk of crypto you come from. I think you're going to find this really cool and really interesting. I also want to discuss with you an idea I have around what we can create for trading that doesn't really seem to exist today, but it seems like an absolute no-brainer to me. So I'm going to take you through almost like a business idea I have around crypto, except it's not a business idea because it would be evenly shared amongst the community. And if somebody watches this and goes and develops it, fantastic, I will use it. If you guys want to develop it with me, let me know in the comments. If you think that this is something we can build as a community, I think it'll be really cool. But before we get into that, let me just give you an idea of what we're talking about here. So predictions.exchange, I found this on a box mining video. And I actually found it because I was looking at Compound, very interested in the DeFi space in terms of becoming your own bank. I think that's an idea that's here to stay. I'm not really interested in all the hypey stuff, but what I want to do is just take you back here to predictions.exchange. So that's how I found this. And you can see there's different markets here. So you can come up with, will the sunset tomorrow be orange? And you can bet on that outcome. And you might ask the question, well, then who arbitrates that outcome? Well, I'm going to actually show you that in this video. And that's actually a very, very interesting question. But first of all, what I want to talk about is how do you arbitrage between the crypto world and the real world? So here's a really good example. Will the S&P 500 close above 3,000 on November the 2nd, 2020? So what I'm going to do is just open that prediction up over here and take a look at it. And you can see that the arbitrator is Kleros. So I'll talk about this in a little bit more detail in a second. But what's really interesting is that 70% of people are saying yes, 30% of people are saying no. So you've got a 70 to 30 ratio here. Now, think of these as your betting odds. And this is something which I haven't actually done yet. This is something I've just found. So take all of this with a pinch of salt. You can see the last person here made a small bet. Let's see how it works. Good on you, buddy. So here we have a 70-30 ratio. Now, how do we arbitrage this? Well, if I go over to an options trading platform that you've seen me bring up a lot, Tastyworks, you can see that I really think this platform is great. I think that Sosnoff and what he's done, you've seen me use this in previous videos, basically. But what's very interesting here is I can set a spread, a vertical spread. Now, if you don't know what that is, a credit or a debit spread, I think it's one of the last videos I did talking about what that is. So go and have a look. But it's essentially how you can take a fixed gain or a fixed loss out of the market using options, almost like binary trading, but without all the nonsense that comes with binary betting, which I never recommend anybody do unless you can arbitrage it. And there's another video on that too. That said, what I want to show you are the numbers here. So the probability of profit, this is the probability of being 1 cent in profit, meaning that this came out in your favor, is 10%. Meaning the probability here on loss is 90%. Because right now, the price today on the S&P, and here I'm looking at the SPY, but same thing really, is at 334. So if we go back to this prediction market, if we're betting that it'll be above 300, if it's SPY, or 3,000, if it's the S&P, there or thereabouts, then we're already in the money. So of course the odds are in the favor of it being above, but here's the arbitrage. The folk in crypto are saying, I definitely think it's going to be above. There's a 70% chance. Well, actually, no, there's a 90% chance. And if you watch the series that we did on how to predict the markets, talking about random walks and how the market really works, then you would know that that is accurate. There is a 90% probability of profit if you're betting that it will be up, not a 70% one. And there is a 10% probability of it being below that 300 mark if you are, and in fact, it's actually even stronger than that because I've given myself some buffer over here. You can see there's profit even just above 300. So actually it's even stronger than that. If I was to go back and move this down, let's move this leg down here, or do maybe a different kind of spread, it's actually 7%. But I'm going to bring it back just to make the numbers easy because it works for the purposes of explaining what's going on in this video. So for those of you who are very used to arbitrage, you would have spotted this immediately. For those of you who are wondering what I'm getting at, don't worry, I'm going to explain that right now. If I'm going to get a 30% return, if it is not above 3,000, then that's fantastic because I can bet that it will not be above 3,000 here, but I can place the opposite bet in the real market using options. And I will get, if it is below 3,000, I will get a 90% return. So let's swap this over. So if we delete this leg and delete this leg and do it this way, do it this way. You'll see here, it's a 93% probability of profit if we're over here. And there's a huge maximum loss with a very small maximum profit because we're already in the money. But if I reverse that round again and we go in this direction, you'll see that, I'm risking 41 to make 460. So what am I really saying? What does this add up to? What I'm saying is you place a bet on one side of the equation in the real world and you place the opposite bet in the crypto world. Because right now there's a significant arbitrage difference. In fact, there's about a 20% arbitrage difference right now. So there you go. So if anybody wants to go and trade this, please go and trade it. I've never used Omen. I cannot recommend this because I don't know how solid it is, but it's crypto. You stand to lose anything if you want to play in this market right now. But there's a more fundamental point that I want to raise here, because it's not just the stock market that you can arbitrage, which is actually what I'm most interested in arbitraging, but doing the crypto world and the stock market. That is something I'm very, very, very interested in, and I'll talk more about that in this video. But there's other things as well here. Will Joe Biden win the 2020 US election? Well, there's a website called Predicted in the real market where you can bet on the election. So for example, if I go to here, you can see Biden's 58%, 58% versus 44% over here in terms of the odds that you're essentially betting on. Now, this is, who will be the winner, who will be the presidential winner of the elections. And this is the same thing over here. Will Joe Biden win the 2020 United States presidential election? That's what this is saying. Now, just bear in mind that this could be saying, will it be Biden or Trump? It could be neither. So you have to find the right prediction market that you're going to arbitrage against. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't aware of Predicted. So this is, again, another betting platform. I think it was actually started by a university as an experiment. I could be wrong on that. But you can place a trade here and you can place the opposite trade here, and you're going to make no money. You're going to make money no matter what the outcome is, which I think is super cool. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention pretty quickly. Now, who is Kleros? Well, I was very interested in this. Decentralized courts. This is where people can earn Ethereum just for being right about the overall consensus of whether a certain outcome happened or not. So this is a legal way of saying, this is basically decentralized justice. This is a way of determining an outcome and rewarding folk in Ether for determining that outcome, which I think is really, really interesting. And I was looking at this in more detail, but I think it needs a lot more attention because this is quite disruptive. And it opens the doors to being able to trade on certain markets, which is exactly what you can do here. Now, I don't know about you, but I wish there was more information about Omen, predictions.exchange, etc. in the YouTube feeds. I don't think there's enough videos on this kind of stuff. So I think this is stuff we should really be looking at and giving some attention to. Now, let's talk a little bit about why this is such a big deal. And there's a lot of talk in the DeFi space around derivatives and options, etc. But forget all of that. There's a lot of complexity around options and the pricing and the calculation of that and implied volatility, which I know I still need to do a video on. There's a lot of complexity there. What if we developed a platform like this just on Ethereum? I think it makes the most sense. It's got the most developer support on it. And we could use Chainlink or Zap or whatever it's going to be, thanks to my friend James, who introduced me to Zap. That's another, Oracle-based crypto. But we could essentially use that to arbitrate whether the price of a certain asset, i.e. Bitcoin or the S&P, was what the trade was supposed to be. So for example, we could have this, but not actually need another arbitrator. This could all be done automatically on the blockchain because you could use an Oracle like Chainlink or Zap to actually provide that price for you in the contract and let you know who won and actually hold that bet in escrow on the smart contract and then give the reward to the person who won, essentially. And what this does is it dramatically reduces your cost of trading, because it is true peer-to-peer trading. And this is something I thought would be really revolutionary, because why would I trade in the real world on the financial markets when we can do it peer-to-peer, and we can avoid the idea that you need a liquidity provider because it's peer-to-peer, and we could create our own liquidity because we have a platform. Crypto Wizards is not the biggest channel, and that's not the goal of Crypto Wizards. But we do have a small community of traders here where we can just use it together. So that's my idea. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think it's already been done. If it has already been done, please send me a link, not to the protocol, but to the actual platform where I can see where to trade. I'd appreciate that if you are aware of something like that. But this is something that as a community, I think we could really develop. And I think it would be really cool, I think, to build an escrow smart contract that uses an oracle like Chainlink or Zap to provide the actual price and essentially the winner or the loser. That would be hugely game changing. And that's what I wanted to bring to your attention. So let me know what you think about that. This is not a fancy video, but I think it's a really, really powerful idea. And I'm looking forward to seeing your feedback. Have a good day.